Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Truth Table, episode 76. I have Jason Bezaire here today from Windsor West. Um, he's a PPC candidate for Windsor West, and he's going to let us all know what compelled him into the dirty business of politics and why he chose the People's Party. We're going to do that right after this. Welcome, everyone. The last few days, 10 days before the election, April 28th. And as you can see, Jacob is right beside Max on peoplesparty.ca, where you can find him, the platform, and all the other candidates in your riding. And hopefully, if you know anyone in Windsor West riding, please send this video to them so they can get to know their candidate and have an informed decision. When they're voting, they vote informed. And that's the most important thing. We want you to be informed and know what your choices are. Welcome, Jacob, to the Truth Table.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So I ask all the candidates this because I did run as a libertarian in the last Ontario election, and what would a good person? Why would a good person want to get into politics, and what brought you and pulled you in?
Well, what pulled me in was the amount of injustices that happened through the COVID-19, the affordability. Um, it's just life is
Mhm.
getting a lot harder. I have a daughter. I'm worried for her. I see the country, the city falling apart, and I decided I can't keep complaining while I do nothing about it. So I decided to join the People's Party because this seems to be the only logical um, party out there. It's very common sense. They're
Yeah.
consistent. They're consistent and they're not flip flopping. They've been the same since it started 2018, and it really speaks to the average person in Canada. And it's a very solid platform for sure.
I, yeah, it is. It's very easy to read and easy to understand, and makes perfect sense to any. Like most men work on logic, and it's very logical. You know, you want to if pipelines will lower our gas prices. You know, if we refine the oil, and it just all makes sense to be self sufficient, and every
Yeah.
country should be. Um, and they just have been derailing that potential that Canada has. So, how old is your daughter?
My daughter is about to turn 10 tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow.
Yeah, so she's a very impressionable age. And does the education system concern you?
Yeah, it does. Gravely. Gravely.
Mm.
Um, my daughter goes to a school here in Windsor in the West End.
Mhm.
Um, she has a lot of. She's a good student. She's like a straight A student. She gets
Awesome.
she gets in a lot of she gets a lot of issues though at school right now. There's some of they integrated some of the kids with special needs that need more assistance just into the classroom, and some of them are violent, and my daughter's been attacked multiple times, and the teachers aren't allowed to touch them or anything, and they just tell my daughter, don't fight back, just take it, it's she's had boys go into the bathroom with her and go under the stall. It's disgusting. It's I want my kid to be safe at school, and that doesn't seem to be happening.
Damn, that's disturbing.
It is.
They have weaponized the system where you're helpless. Like right now, if your daughter goes into the public bathroom and starts screaming, and you go in there and there's a man, naked or something, you're the one that would go to jail for trying to protect your daughter.
Absolutely.
And same with your home. Someone breaks into your home. If you harm them in any way, you go to jail, and the family loses the father. So it's been absolutely anti-nuclear family in every way possible, shape, and form, and all with no logic. When you allow people to protect themselves and defend themselves, like the Second Amendment, there's less crime.
Yeah.
Because it's not worth it for them to break in your house and risk that you might have a weapon. And if you're allowed to use it, then you're empowered and they're disempowered. And that would be a logical thing to let, families grow healthy. But yeah, we've been betrayed. And I think it's all 5 of them. I think they're all harmonized together.
The uniparty.
None of them, none of the 5, because all 338 voted to let children change their sex, which means they'll never have an orgasm. They'll never be able to have children. All that is gone. Their lives and future are destroyed, dismantled based on what they felt that day.
Before they even knew, could experience anything.
Yeah.
Your brain is still developing,
Yeah.
It's catastrophic.
They're taking advantage of the exploratory stage of life where you find yourself, you explore like a cat. You look around every corner, you look and you see, what attracts you. It's the same with careers. Schools should be designed to find your career, find what you love, and then allow you to grow as fast as you can.
Yeah.
With no restrictions, not one size fits all. But if you're really good at school, you should be able to go through 3 grades in a year if you can. It's so limiting and so dysfunctional in every way. To me, it's a simple fix. And I think the People's Party is the only one talking about these things. So I admire all of you candidates, because it is a brave thing to stand up. I mean, all the other parties don't want to hear from you. They don't want you in the debates. They don't want logic to be heard. They just want lies to be heard. And they are the actual, disinformation is the truth that's not comfortable. And yet they throw that word around, disinformation, misinformation. Sorry, I'm doing all the talking here.
Oh, no. It's all good stuff. And it's true.
I'm passionate about it, and that's why I want to get as many PPC candidates before the election, because I want the people to know who you are, know your face, and just go on the website, look at the platform. It's really not that complicated. It's not that complex. It's very well written. Even the pamphlet is very well written and easy to understand and get to know. But I mean, read all the platforms. Now, if you read the Liberal platform, read it, but then look at what they've done in the last 10 years and see if they go together, or were they lying.
Yeah.
And that should be historical. If they say they're going to improve your lives and that the deficit pays for itself, like, remember Justin said that.
Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, since that didn't happen, he rightly lied to us. So that should be historic. The Liberals lied to us, and that should be taught in school. They said this, but they did that. They violated parental rights. sacred bodily autonomy. All these things are what Maxine is talking about. He's the only one.
Yep.
And so that was my thank you for running, for participating, because you're in a war. I mean, you're dealing with people that are not nice, and they play
Oh, I'm aware.
dirty,
I'm aware.
and they try to character assassinate you. They pretend they're your friend on Facebook, and and try to look for anything they can find on you. Look at your Twitter history and just look and dig and dig and dig. And they have the money to pay people to do that. And they do it because they want to find any skeletons they can find. Because they're a war party and they're fighting. They're literally fighting to keep in power. And so I want to thank you for your courage. And on behalf of all of us that believe in the platform and the party and the vision. So I know I probably covered all this, but what made you choose the People's Party? Like, what was it about it that you said this is the one for me, as opposed to the others?
Well, originally, this is like I'm pretty young, right? I'm 31, so I remember back in Harper's regime there.
Yep.
It was life was at least affordable for me, but I didn't understand why Canada was involved all over the world, and I was anti-war, and I didn't agree with Libya, et cetera, et cetera. And look at all these; they're all failed states now.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
and what's actually embarrassing is that their military is larger than ours, and so I noticed the People's Party come up. I was checking it out. Anti-war, controlled immigration, and both these things resonated with me. And then I looked into the platform more and more, and it seemed like this is a great party. This is a party of true freedom, libertarian movement, and
Yes,
I
I agree.
I'm a hunter. I like shooting, and everyone everyone is trying to take them all away, right? The
Yep.
conservatives, they're like, oh yeah, we'll stop them from taking your hunting rifle, and they just kept saying that over and over. And I'm like, I don't like the way they're wording that, because it makes me think that they're, whatever they took away before, they're not going to give it back. And
No.
I'm already affected by it, So this party means a lot to me. It means a whole lot to me, and I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled to help where I can and run as a candidate.
Well,
It's very important.
God willing, you get a seat. And if you get a seat, will you try to restore our freedoms and our sacred bodily autonomy? Is that a part of your
Everything I
vision?
can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It would. That would
Restoring
be
parental
great.
rights. Yeah, because if you you'll have a vote, and you'll be able to speak for your the Windsor West, because really that's your people. I mean,
Yeah.
you're like you're the protector of that riding, and they need to know that. Any riding that gets a seat, those people, will be protected by their honorable minister. And that sounds good. That suits you, honorable. Because we don't have anybody.
I never
But we
envisioned
don't have
myself.
anybody. Yeah, I know, but none of these people are honorable. Why do they get that title? If you ever watch Parliament, they don't act honorable. They don't answer questions. But one thing they do is they do reveal the sins of the other party. Like when they're fighting back and forth, you did this, you did that. They're telling us what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
So they're revealing their sins, as an attack method, but nothing is done about it. And if Justin Trudeau um, broke the law with Lavalin and SN Lavalin and all the other stuff he did, where was the police? Where was the RCMP? Will the PPC, fix this? Where
I would
officials, whistleblowers are protected and officials are charged when they break the law?
love to hold these people accountable. It's
Mm,
a bunch of crooked politicians, and there's no
yep.
real working man's opinion in there. It's just a bunch of suits that
Yep.
have never worked. They all they've done is play this political game of Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
really,
Yep.
and
Yep.
it's just ridiculous. And
But
yeah, they need
they
they
know
need to be.
legalese. They know
Sorry.
legalese, and it's okay. They know legalese. They know French and English. They're good talkers, but they're con artists,
Yes.
and they just want to sweep their sins under the carpet and have a big smile during election. I got banned from the Liberal candidate in, in my city because she asked the question. Are you with me? Well, I'm going to deliver. So I put all the things that she delivered. She delivered DE, and it was a long list. It was like almost a half a book there. And when she blocked me within 15 minutes, I was gone. But they can't face the truth because it's so horrible.
Oh yeah.
We do not consent to killing little children across the world that did nothing to us. Any if they want to be inclusive, they need to include the Christian faith. Do not kill. That's one of the commandments we take seriously, and we don't want to participate in it. I think one way the PPC will deal with foreign aid. You're all for just stopping funding wars and getting out of them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We need, like, in Windsor and across Canada, we have this massive housing shortage. We have a lot of addicts in Windsor. We have a lot of homeless in Windsor. And like, why aren't we taking care of these people? Why are we taking care across the world? Why, people are getting pushed out of their houses because of affordability.
Yeah.
And we're still not taking care of ourselves, but we're willing to throw money, which I bet it doesn't even get to those poor people. You know what I mean? It just lines
Yeah.
some lobbyist pocket.
Yeah. Well, a friend of mine, Gordon, he said, swearing an oath as an MP to be His Majesty's loyal servant does nothing for the people. What would you say? I think the PPC would have to have a majority government to be able to have a referendum to ask the country, do you want to get out of the Commonwealth and separate? I don't know if it's possible. I would love to see it. I mean, if you want a king, make it a Canadian king from Canada that has roots in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
If you want it, then fine, do it properly. Right now, it's like he's over there and he's rules over us, and that just doesn't feel right. And they all have to swear an oath. So right away, as soon as they're elected, they're no longer really going after the writing. They're listening to the Privy Council. They're listening to the Governor General. And so, how do you feel about separating from the Commonwealth? Are you for that or?
From my understanding, it's largely symbolic. You know what I mean? But I'm okay with it because I don't think it's like a top priority. But yeah, why not? Like, we are our own country, and The if the people want it, then let's give it to them. Absolutely.
It does seem like nothing's going on with it anyway. He's not like making decisions openly. Like, I understand how you feel. I was just curious, and Gordon asked that. Um, is there anything about the People's Party that you think the platform that could benefit Windsor the most that they need to know?
Well, so all of our with the current trade war, right? Windsor is largely automotive manufacturing. So we got Chrysler, Ford. We used to have GM. We have a bunch of machine shops, and all of our customers are American companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Trump tariffs, 25%, it hurts our customers, right? So with all the other parties, they're all willing to add tariffs of their own, hurting our companies, right? So
Yes.
it's putting us all out of work. And we can see that right now. Chrysler is about to pull out, probably will. Ford, who knows? It's looking really dire here in Windsor, and it's very important that we end this. And we need to make things affordable for people here. So you have all these parties, and they all want to sacrifice Windsor for their egos. So I'm really hopeful we can make a mutual beneficial deal and get these guys back to work. And the immigration as well. The wait times at the hospital are insane. At any clinic, they're insane. You could be waiting 4 or 5 hours just at a walk-in clinic plus. And it's
free healthcare.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace.
Yeah, I could.
But you would be against the government making calls on medical protocols, and like they did with COVID. They're the ones calling. They were calling the shots. Wear a mask. Do you think if you were in power that you would have done the same thing, or what would you have done differently?
Well, I probably would have gotten in trouble because I probably would have told them, where to shove it.
But if you were in power, you would have power. What are they going to do to you?
Kick me out? I don't know. But
you're in the right party. You won't get kicked out, I swear.
COVID was devastating here. We lost a lot of businesses, and then they left like Walmart and stuff open, but like other smaller stores had to close. And it's like, what do you mean? Like, who are you to say that, this business means less than this one, right? And then who are you to tell someone to, put a vaccine in their body? If they want it, go right ahead, but if you don't want it, you shouldn't be forced to. You shouldn't be shunned, alienated. It was insanity. I couldn't believe it. It was like we were living in the Twilight Zone, man. It was so bizarre. So bizarre.
Would you be for pulling the funding? Because when they, like the vaccine schedule, I look at the ingredients, so YouTube does not want to know what I think. But if the government stops paying for it, it's going to shrink the government's expenses. Would the PPC be willing to allow parents to pay for it if they want it, but not the government, not the taxpayers, not to pre-buy it? But if they want it, they can buy it if they want. But the warnings have to be there. And if someone died from it, there should be a warning. Could cause death. And maybe show the ingredients like aluminum. We know what aluminum is like. It hurts your immune system. It lowers your ability to heal yourself, your cells to repair themselves. I mean, we know we have all that information, but they just ignore it. Oh, well, there's aluminum in there. No, that's a problem. That's causing harm.
Absolutely.
You're not helping them. You want to inject babies and little kids, inject them with vitamin C and vitamin A, and there's no vitamins in there. But the fact that they're putting mRNA now, it's a real issue. It's a real, to me, fifth generational war. So I think we run out of time, and people need to wake up now and get the PPC in there, and the libertarians. I would love to see a PPC majority and a libertarian minority, because all they're going to fight for is more freedom. I
Yeah,
mean, how amazing Canada could be with the representatives that actually represent us,
absolutely.
you know.
Absolutely.
And like you would fight for parental rights. They've stripped away parental rights,
Yeah.
incrementally over the decades. But now it's all in. 2030, you're going to own nothing. They give us a deadline. So like this is the election, our chance, our last chance to wake everybody up and understand that they are being lied to. The polls are a lie. That's not what people are thinking. They're deceiving you and manipulating you, thinking everyone else is thinking this way, so you have to vote conservative because the liberals are doing so great in the polls. It's all brainwash, MK Ultra, mind control, baloney. It really is. It's a lie. They should be in jail for that.
Yeah, they
If you're
should.
going to take a poll everybody and make everyone vote. The majority would win are all the non-voters.
Hmm.
They would win. They would win a huge majority if they would just vote and take that chance. I know they don't vote because they have no more faith, but we do have an opportunity. We can do this. And by default, if we free our country with a PPC majority, by default, we're going to be on the naughty list with the NATO countries, the pro war countries, and there's going to be a brand new war because all the people that are ruling over us right now are going to come after us. Even if you win, the liberals are, they're going to start burning buildings down. I mean, they're bloody crazy and they're lawless. But because they're in control, they're after, they come after the good guys because they don't want good guys. They want people, yes, people. And that's the beauty of the PPC is you will vote according to your writing, even if it goes against the People's Party's platform. If it doesn't benefit your writing, you will vote against it. You know what I mean? That's the difference between all the other parties and the People's Party is that you are specific to your writing and your
Hmm.
needs. And your area is car manufacturing, right?
Yep.
So it will be different than other regions. So that's the beauty I think about the party that I like the most is its versatility and its independence. All the other parties, you follow suit or you're out. Even the conservatives, you go to a rally with a "Make Canada Great" hat, and they throw you out.
Yeah, I seen
The
that a few
conservatives,
times. It was unbelievable. It was like that's your support though. Like why are you treating them like that? Like
yeah,
okay, go
it's
ahead. Well,
it's
welcome to
quite telling.
welcome.
It's quite telling, though. They're showing no tolerance, so they're not who they say they are.
Yeah.
So we're in a very scary situation where all these parties have shown when they all voted to erase parental rights and let kids change their sex and to ruin their life, and then offer them maid when they're 12 years old, so they can
Unbelievable.
end their suffering and misery, and they will. That's their puberty time. That's when they realize what they want in their teen years.
Yep.
It's so heartbreaking for me, but I couldn't be more grateful to all the PPC candidates. You're all the same. You really are. You really are good people. And the only reason why you're here is because of the state and what they did to us, and since 2020. It started before then, but still,
Yeah.
like, it really came out 2020.
Yeah, I
And
wouldn't do this
that's,
if there wasn't a
yeah,
need for it.
yeah. Good people never ran for politics, I don't think. But now they have. They have because they could lose everything, their families, the parental rights are out the window already. Even though you have your daughter here, one wrong move and she's gone. They'll take her. You know, it's just absolutely insane. So would the PPC party like slow down the immigration?
Oh, pause it. Pause it. until we
Yeah,
can until we can take care of everyone here, and
yeah.
and then we can be selective. We
It
can
sounds
all
so logical.
rather than just letting the floodgates open. Come on
Yeah.
over.
What I would like to see happen is if to stop the flow, because 5 million since Trudeau came in, that's a lot of people, and they don't come from a compatible culture.
Yeah.
India is not compatible with Canada. Sorry, it's not. We don't poop on our beach. We don't do that. That's not normal for us. We don't. And Sharia law countries, we don't. We're not compatible.
Yeah.
To me, it's all about a war. It's about imploding, financially imploding. So we're basically in debt to the Rothschilds and we're owned by them because of the debt to them. And they funded both sides of the war, so they know what they're doing. They're smart bankers. And I think we've been captured. If all the parties voted against parental rights, we have nobody representing us. Not even one. What a terrible situation for such a beautiful country and
Oh, yeah.
beautiful people. Like, beautiful people. Canadians are amazing people. You know, there are some bad ones, but still, generally, all the people I've met are, there's good in everyone. And, if you look for it, you can find it. Um, Sorry, I'm rambling tonight.
No, no,
I,
no,
uh,
no,
I
no. It's good stuff. No, it is. I couldn't agree more. I've traveled. I haven't had the finances to travel much outside of Ontario. I've been a little bit in Quebec, but I've traveled around Ontario, and yeah, the people are consistently good. And I love
mhm.
this country, and this country has so much potential. We have like so much untapped gems here. We're just waiting for someone, but it doesn't seem like these other parties are concerned at all. Their only concern is what it seems to be is imploding, imploding Canada.
Are you concerned about the mail-in ballots?
Um, yeah, uh, every there's always going to be room for fraud, right? And ev- the whole thing concerns me, to be honest. Unless you're there with ID, putting it in, but at the same time, like they can. I've heard horror stories of they look at it and like, garbage, 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 and it's
Sure.
it's not right. Yeah.
Well, what I heard is they found like 200,000 or I don't know how many. It might have been 20,000 or I don't know the number, but it's not important. But enough to change the election results. That's all I know, and I don't know if it's in writings or altogether. But they found like I think maybe it was 200,000 mail-in ballots a year after the election that would have changed the results, and
Yeah.
yet the results weren't changed. So we are dealing with criminals here, and they love their power, and they can lie with a straight face, almost like they're soulless, like they have no sense of guilt or shame. It's not normal to me. It's none of this is normal. DEI is not normal.
Absolutely.
It's even the tariffs aren't normal. If it costs $1 for eggs here, we should sell them for $1. And if the United States wants to bring eggs over here, you know what I mean? It should just be equal. There should be no war baloney. The supply management has just made this ridiculous war overcharging
Yeah.
Americans for the poultry and the milk. And I mean, would you do something about that too? The supply
Absolutely.
management?
Absolutely. I want cheaper groceries just as much as everyone else.
Yeah.
You know, like what's not to like about the affordability
Mhm.
there?
But there was a
It's just,
dairy farmer. Oh, sorry.
pardon? Go on.
There was a dairy farmer that had a group of people in the community. They bought a cow and they were dividing the milk, but they were dividing raw milk. So they found a loophole around that. And the government came in with guns. Guns. A dairy farm. What the hell? Are they going to shoot all the cows because one of them sneezed?
Yeah.
We really have no more time left. We really don't. And when I was a kid, people didn't lock their cars, they didn't lock their homes. So I've seen it throughout my lifetime, like an absolute incremental um, devolution. Devil, that sounds like devil. Devolution. Yeah, it is devolution, isn't it?
It is. It is. I like it. I like it. You should keep it.
On the truth table, we invent words like devolution. I want to reverse course. I want a party that's going to enhance freedom, enhance parental rights, enhance sacred bodily autonomy, honesty. I want a needle pulled from the shelf like rotten meat. If someone dies, that's not safe and effective. I'm sorry. One is too many.
Hmm.
And all this other stuff with the DNA and oh my, what a absolute freak show that this has been allowed into the light of the firefly. There's another biblical thing that they tried to hide for 75 years. Pfizer wanted to hide it. Said, "Oh no, there's no light in there." But yeah, they use the light of the firefly and call it luciferase, which is just a term that means light of the light bearer. The light of the light bearer is luciferase,
Hmm.
which is the name, the mark. It can be scanned, so it's a mark of a beast. The beast is the firefly. They basically fulfilled, the Bible. They really did. I mean, it took me a lot of research to dig in and find out the Pfizer documents were. But I mean, as soon as I saw luciferase, I went, "Oh my God, that's what they were hiding," because of the biblical implications, of that. Luckily, I've interviewed a lot of nurses, and they said that the protocols really weren't kept because in order to keep the light alive, it had to be like minus 50 degrees or something. So a lot of the times it would be kept out of the freezer and the temperature would change. So the light would actually die. So medical error in this case actually saved lives because they
Wonderful.
found a way to steal the soul because we have a divine light inside of us and it won't share our body with another light. You inject another light into your body, the light inside of us is just going to blow itself out. It won't share you. And I don't blame them. I don't blame God for not wanting to share us because it's a personal relationship. Sorry, I didn't mean to get into in Bible stuff because a lot of people change. A lot of people just change the channel. But that's okay. I mean, people need to know this stuff. I mean, this is the golden age. This is where the truth is coming out. And what you're doing is important. It's so important because there is no more time left. And to me, if the liberals win, they cheated. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And I expect them to cheat. So, we may have all done all of this effort for nothing, but at least we're on the right side of history and we are getting the information that's important out. Um, all right, let's get into the platform for Windsor because this show is about Windsor and your future. And we talked about cars and milk. Let's see, and immigration, which is all important. Let me see what else. Anything that you want comes to mind that you would like to talk about the platform?
Um, I'd like to talk a little bit more about immigration, just because it affects so much, right? Um, when you have a massive amount of people coming in, um, it drives up the pricing of housing, right?
Yep.
That So we have like a very large need for housing right now. We have a lot of people living in hotels, living out on the streets, renting, and a, a little crappy little apartment is over $1,000 in like one of the worst neighborhoods. It's unreal. Now,
Wow.
what we need to do is stop taking in immigrants for now.
Yeah.
And we need to cut a bunch of red tape to allow these developers to build these houses and catch up. So we desperately need to cut the bunch of regulations that they can get this done as fast as possible. I know the NDP, they want to start making government housing, right? That they'll own. And I find that terrifying. And especially when the government's involved, it typically takes 3 times as long and 3 times as expensive, you know? And
Yeah.
I feel like the government has interfered enough in my life, and I'm sure many Canadians feel the same. So
Yeah.
let's get this done, you know? Let's get people into houses and let's make them affordable. For sure.
And houses, are made worse and worse, like cars.
Yeah.
They're not making them better. Like hemp makes a great fireproof insulation. It's breathable. It's healthy. Why? I mean, the patio tiles with hemp are 3 times lighter, 3 times heavier. So, would you pursue things like that would actually, make roads last 10 years instead of 2? By using hemp?
I would definitely support it, you know. Let the let the market, let innovators innovate and get out of their way, you know.
You think it's possible to cap the profiteering going on with the housing? That's might be a part of the problem as well, because they're using cheaper materials and charging more. So like they're devolving.
Yeah.
And
There's
people
also
have
a
to
bit of
live.
fraud there. Like
I think so, yeah.
there's workers that are not certified, and they're building houses, and then when the inspector comes, the inspector takes a look, okay, yeah, everything looks good, and then say they take out half the insulation once he leaves, and then they go to the next place and they put it up, and they just keep skimming, right? And these houses are not that great. I know I talked to some of the carpenters, and they're pretty upset with this, right? And they're like, these foreign workers are coming in and they're effing everything up, and then they're getting out of here. I feel like if these buildings are unsafe, then they should be held liable. You know what I mean? And
I agree.
like, if an electrician comes in and he's working on your house and your house burns down from an electric fire, you can hold him liable, right? But like, you can't hold the guy that's building the house, and it doesn't make much sense. So,
will the People's Party hold the pharmaceutical industry liable?
oh yeah, oh yeah, that's
Because
a big target right there. Huge target. Probably a target that'll get a few people killed, though. But those are
sure
powerful
people have been
people.
killed. They are. They definitely. I mean, look what they've done. They made sure that the PCR tests were overcycled with a 97% false positive, and then they spread these false positives on the news every day to strike fear into the hearts of their constituents that they purport to represent. This is so hard that someone with critical thinking, this has been torture. It really has. Because to me, there's so many simple ways to fix all of this, even the education. It's not that hard. To me, it's not rocket science to fix it all. It's like they've deliberately gotten the way. Will the People's Party get rid of the poison out of the children cereal.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm I took a liking to RFK's stance. You know, he's looking into the
Mhm.
food, he's looking into the vaccines and everything, right? And we know that there's different grades. Um, we definitely need to take a look at, because yeah, I got this. I got a few apps on my phone. I have like very sensitive skin, so I'll take a look at like shampoo and soap and stuff like that, and it'll
Mhm.
be like, this causes cancer, and it'll be like, how the hell is it on the shelf? Like,
Mhm.
like it's ridiculous. And
But
there's
these
so
food
much.
products, what kills me is a lot of these food products, the ingredients are banned in other countries because of the
Yeah,
poison. Yet they still do it here, knowing that it's poison. So,
yeah.
do you have any idea who has the power to do such a thing? Because it is an act of war, as you know. It is an act of war to do harm deliberately.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's how much profit they get. I mean, they damn their own souls for harming their fellow man, as far as I'm concerned. And that's what I love about the People's Party is they actually, all the candidates actually do care about other people, and they're not, professional salesmen trying to win you over. They just speaking the truth that isn't being allowed or covered. So we have fascism, we have the media involved, we have the government involved, we have big pharma involved. So these people are all working together against Canada and Canadians.
Mhm.
Is the People's Party, if you had a majority, would you consider the People's Party a party that stands by do no harm?
Yeah, yeah, I would. Um, do no harm, and it's it by doing no harm, uh, we wouldn't. It's a perfect idea of do no harm, because the COVID-19, we saw a lot of harm. All this foreign aid funding wars is
Yes.
plenty of doing harm.
Yes.
The poison in our food, the forced pharmaceuticals, the opioid epidemic. This is all fueled by all these parties and lobbyists, etc., etc.
Agreed.
Uh,
Agreed.
and we're the party trying to fight it. So absolutely, I would say this is the do no harm party.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I put Maxime Bernier on the spot when I asked him about the chemtrails, but I asked him because he worked in the federal government, so I assumed that he would know something, and he did talk about it, and he's the only uh, politician that would ever talk about it. They
Mhm.
all just say, "What are you talking about? It's contrails." So I mean, this could be the 200 billion deficit to protect Canada that Trump's talking about. The cost of the military planes that go back and forth all day and night. So I think would the People's Party like opt to get out of being protected by the United States
Oh,
and
well,
perhaps stop the chemtrails? Because if there's a debt, I say, hey, how about we just stop getting protection, and then we won't have any deficit with you.
yeah,
I don't want a deficit with the United States. I want to
no,
be able to protect our homeland, strong and free. You know, we
yeah,
have a military; they can protect our borders, our coastline. There's ways, we can do it. We've been denied our potential right from birth. That first needle, all of it is harm. All that aluminum has made sure that we will not have a renaissance.
hmm,
And I want a renaissance. I want what we deserve. And you're like the only party that even looks like they could happen. None of
well,
the other
with
parties
enough
offer that.
exposure, with enough exposure,
Exposure. Yep. I mean, I quit. I could have been a runway model, but I chose to do the truth table Just kidding. Just kidding. We can't be too serious all the time. You know, we don't want to make our audience cry, but so we have to lighten it up sometimes just to show that we're human.
No.
We're all flawed. We all, you know, have negative thoughts and we don't like people sometimes. But you know, when people hurt other people, you're not expected to like them. You know,
Mm-mm.
it's better to avoid them or to help them therapeutically. There's, you know, I want a renaissance. I think we could have had it, and it was like chemically stolen from us.
I think we still can. We still can. We need a lot of work, though. We need a
Yeah.
whole lot of work.
Yeah.
We need a
Well,
lot of.
biblically, we do. Biblically, we do. We get restored. So I'm looking forward to that part. This is the hard part. So all the good people, God is like dividing people into two camps: those that are with Him and those that aren't. And that's what we're seeing. That's you know, the dividing, the masks and the non-masks. You know,
Yeah.
the vax and the non-vax. Division. They've been working on this for so long, and it's a shame because Canadians were really amazing before
Yeah.
they started this programming and division our society, and then flooding it in with people that cultures that do not have, you know, any compatibility with us, and they don't leave Sharia law. They don't abandon Sharia law. Once they're in for life, and we don't want it here. And they brought people that will, you know, eventually um, be more than us because
Yeah.
they have way more kids than we do, and it won't take them long. We have what 34 million, and 5 million came in like a couple more years, another decade. We're outnumbered, and we're a minority, and that's the plan, I guess, the UN plan. Would
Yeah.
you vote to leave the UN, the WEF, the WHO, all these globalist entities?
Well, I'm definitely for leaving at least most of them. Right. The one
Mhm.
thing I do worry about is getting out of something too quick, too fast. Right.
Right.
And when you
Of
do
course.
that, you leave a very large target on your back. So who wouldn't want Canada? Canada is so great. You have so much potential, and we got it. We just have to do this very carefully. Now, we don't
I
need
agree.
to be running around the whole world funding random uprisings for someone that doesn't agree with us 100%. Just leave them, let them
No,
do their thing.
I agree. But I mean, they're
And
paying billions to be in the WEF, World
yeah,
Economic Forum.
that
That,
garbage
that could
needs to
help
go.
Canadians a lot more. Help
Yeah,
pay down the deficit. You believe in paying down the debt to zero and
yeah,
standing by that until it's done?
yeah,
Because,
absolutely. It's like racking up like a massive credit card debt, or just
mm-hmm,
we're getting farther and farther into debt. The
yep,
interest payments are insane, and like we're just gonna keep borrowing money. It's like, who in the right mind does this? And then there's like
yep,
we have very qualified people in parliament in power, and it's like, and they're still doing one of the dumbest things you could possibly do.
mm-hmm. But it's a threat to our sovereignty to
It
be
is.
owned. Like we're basically being enslaved by the debt.
Yeah.
And we could end that by getting rid of the debt and not being beholden to anybody, any
Yeah.
bank. Um, like in 1974, Pierre Elliott Trudeau changed the Bank of Canada Act, where they could no longer they were no longer giving interest free loans to local politicians, provincial and federal. Um, Interest-free loans, and they stopped that 1974. And after that we started getting food banks, housing. All these things didn't exist before at all. And I was young, and I remember a cherry tree on the street where I could climb up and eat all I like. It was like a free, free tree on the street that right up by the sidewalk that anybody could go up there and eat. It wasn't even on the property. It was like between the sidewalk and the road. That grass thing, that's where the
Yeah.
tree was. Like, would you be all in for something like that? A community program where people could eat for free and have apples and pears and uh, just on the streets, between the sidewalk and the.
Yeah, why not? There's
I
so
think
much.
it's a beautiful,
The
beautiful
city
thing,
even puts up trees all over the place, and
but not food.
yeah, but yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah,
never a food bearing tree, and
but
yeah,
see
I've
that.
often thought about that myself, actually. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, for sure.
But see, that's a Canadian idea. That's the beauty that I see. That's
Yeah,
the potential I see because just because we think about it, it has potential
yeah,
to happen. It can happen. Someone could like sneak a seed for a cherry tree, and it'll just grow
yeah.
and so, offer food to the hungry. There would be no more hunger. They we would be filling bellies and showing the beauty that exists within us that has been thwarted. Um, it's terrible what happened to us, but I look forward to calling you honorable minister.
With any luck,
No,
I'm trying my best over here.
I think only God can save us at this point. But I think, and I don't mean to be sound preachy because I really don't want to be. I'm not a preachy kind of guy. I mean, I did study multiple religions, and I respect them all. I just wanted to want to hear what everyone has to say, because just because of geographical birthplace doesn't make your religion wrong. So that's the way I see it. I see the whole world as our brothers and sisters, our family, which is why I hate wars and I don't want to fund them. You know, I don't believe in killing. I don't care if they're a bad person or not. And even Trump believes in the death penalty, but he can't be a Christian and be for the death penalty.
Hmm.
Thou shalt not kill. It's simple as that. I don't care how bad they are. So he's a fake. He's a fake Christian because you cannot. That's one of the 10 commandments. You cannot claim to be religious when you do that. That's my opinion, though. I mean, if I was a leader and I said I was a Christian, I would at least obey the 10 commandments. I
Hmm.
wouldn't covet like Trump relishes taking oil out of Syria and Iraq. We help them out, so we get their oil. No,
Theft.
no, no. That's coveting. That is their oil.
Yeah.
They didn't need your help. All you did was fund the terrorists. ISIS, Al Qaeda, they're all our guys. And now they're all here because they got what they wanted over there. And now they're just bringing them all here to wreck it here because they're done.
Exactly.
They're
Exactly.
finished. Yeah. So we're post event now. and we found each other. I found the most amazing people in the last 5 years. Since 2000, I have like met the most incredible people I've ever met. And a lot of them are candidates like yourself. And it's just like we were brought together. It's like
Yeah.
it's just the most amazing thing to find the most amazing people, all all on the same cause of do no harm and loving thy neighbor and forgiving those who who sin against us and hurt us. Because I do forgive Justin Trudeau. I don't like his sin though, because to me he's a traitor. He high
Yeah.
treason, war crimes, you name it.
Yeah.
Um, but there's another person that can judge him. I don't want death penalty for him or anything like that. I would be for putting him in behind bars and
Me
taking
too.
pictures and putting it on the big freaking side of a building of him behind bars, just to show that Canada does have justice
Yeah.
again and
Yeah.
accountability.
There
That's why.
definitely needs to be some accountability and justice for what's been happening. I
Mhm.
don't think this can go unanswered. There's just too much. There's too
No
much.
amnesty.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you for coming on the show, sharing time with us. Well, with me. If I was schizophrenic, I would have said us.
Thank you for
But
having me.
I appreciate what you're doing, and I want you to get the seat. So get the seat, and so we can call you honorable minister and have our first actual honorable minister who actually cares, who cares about their fellow man. We need justice. We need
That's right.
fairness. We need, honest trade. We have to get rid of the greed and corruption and build healthy homes and strong roads. Everything could be better, but we have to vote the right people in, and you're one of them. So thank you for coming on the show, and thank you all at home for joining us. Any final words before we go?
I just want to thank you all for having me, and Paul, it's been great. Please go out, vote PPC. If you want to check out the platform, visit peoplespartycanada.ca. Check it out.
Yes, and
Thank you.
thank you all for coming and joining with us. If you know anybody in Windsor West, please share this video with them so they can know who the person behind the name. Have you lived in Windsor your whole life?
Well, I grew up in Essex County, so I lived about 30 minutes away from Windsor, and I first moved to
Okay.
Windsor as a teenager. And
Did you ever work on cars?
I worked on the molds. I'm a machinist by trade,
Oh yeah,
so
cool.
I worked on the molds for that. Other molds outside of automotive, and then
Mhm.
I even did aerospace. So I've done some really cool stuff.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that I can't exactly talk about, but things that fly. So that is pretty cool. I did that for a while. Um, yeah, so I've spent my whole life in the trade, and I've been around Windsor. I bought a house in Windsor about 2 weeks before my daughter was born, so just about 10 years. So yeah,
Now, would you get rid of the DEI program and flooding every sector?
absolutely, absolutely, it's racist, actually, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
for it should be whoever, if you have a job, fill fill the job with the best candidates, right? And
Mhm.
it seems so outrageous that you have to have this kind of person, you have to have this kind of person. It's like, relax. Like, if we're all supposed to be the same and be equals, like, treat us as equals. You can't do that stuff. Like,
Well, yeah, the NDP brought in Bill 67, which is a critical race theory, which is actually, to me, an act of war because it teaches white children that they're racist and teaching them to loathe themselves.
yeah,
And the Committee of 300 in 1991 wrote a paper about getting rid of white people in North America. So the DEI goes along with the Committee of 300's paper, and it is a war against white people.
yeah.
And which is I don't know how these people get away with this. I really don't know how they've gotten away with this for so long and nobody's stepped up to stop it.
Yeah, as if you should feel shame, for the color of your skin. Like, if that was if you were saying that to anyone that wasn't white, how
Yeah.
absurd, and you would get ostracized,
Yeah.
like. But if you can say that to a white person, it's completely fine. It's
Yeah.
not it's nonsense.
They really are breeding hate for white with the black people. I've seen many videos of like 12 and more black people just beating the hell out of a white man, just bullying and just kicking in the head, and this is being ignored. This is okay with our government. It's not
Yeah,
okay with me. I want people in there that actually represent us, because we have no one. We have all a bunch of traitors, and the DEI to me is child abuse and needs to end. So I need the People's Party to get in there to end it, to protect the
Absolutely.
children, because right now the children are under attack, and
Yeah.
it's about saving the children because they are the future. And the Committee of 300's plan is 500 million, white people, and 500 million um, Chinese and Japanese. And they did that because they, for decades, have lived under a regiment, and they follow their orders and mandates and protocols of the government. So they're all pre-trained. So they're 500 million for them. And we had the Georgia Guidestones, our tombstone, with 500 million. Now I thought that was, across the earth, but it wasn't. It was our tombstone for North America. It didn't include the 500 million Chinese and Japanese. So that
Wow.
was their plan, and it has been uncovered, the 1991 paper. And it all seems to go along with it. Libertarians, independents, and the People's Party are the only three choices and entities that we have that actually will have our back. That's it. And with the first past the post, the smaller categories will never get a say. They won't get a seat. They won't get a say. If they're 4% or under, they don't even get a say. In Alberta, it showed the People's Party had more votes than the other party. The People's Party got 0 seats, and the other party got 40 seats. You know, and they actually won the election. The numbers show that the People's Party won. It's right in front of us, right in our face, cheating.
Yeah.
It's scary, man. It's scary.
It's
So,
very
I,
scary.
you know, it's very courageous to do what you do. I don't know. You may not know that or feel that because you have a child to protect, and when it comes to that, uh, bravery and courage is just automatic
Yeah.
because our children are more valuable to us than ourselves. They
Absolutely.
mean more than they trump our own selves. At least that's the way I felt, with children.
Yeah.
Is that my life was below them because their future and everything is about the future of mankind. So they're important. So I want to give them all the information they need to empower themselves and have the most productive and happy life that we can offer. But they're in our schools now to ruin all of it.
Yeah. Yep.
So leaving
The
on a positive note, next week, the 28th, going to call him Honorable Minister Jacob.
right on,
Don't
right
give
on.
up. Don't give up. Don't listen to the news. Don't listen to the polls. They're lying to us. Trust your instinct. Your gut instinct is like your guardian angel.
Hmm.
You can't trust your heart or your brain because they freaking lie to you. They will. They will lie to you. If I see a pretty girl, my heart goes, "Oh my God, I'm in love." Don't listen to your heart. Don't do it. Listen to your gut. If your gut's saying run, run, do it, run.
Yep.
But thank you again, Jacob. So thank you all for watching at home, and thank you for running. And I hope to meet someday, and even have you on the show perhaps in the future, roundtable discussion and that sort of thing.
Look
And
forward to it.
I wish you all the best, brother.
Thank you.